Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mufasa book readings. My name is Julia, and your reader for today is Mpho. She'll be reading the questions at the back of the book. So if you haven't tuned into some of our videos, this is a great opportunity for you to catch up. Enjoy.
Questions I am often asked. Frankly, I've always been embarrassed by personal questions like some in this afterword. But I'm asked them so often and with so much interest that I've gone ahead and included them here. Many of these questions and answers were also included in Living the 7 Habits. The 7 Habits was published in 1989. Given your experiences in the many years that have followed, what would you change, add, or subtract? I'm not responding lightly, but frankly, I wouldn't change anything. I might go deeper and apply wider, but I have had the opportunity to do that in some of the books released since then. For example, over 250,000 individuals were profiled showing Habit 3, put first things first, as the habit most neglected. So the First Things First book, published 1996, went deeper into habits 2 and 3, but also added more substance and illustrations for all the other habits. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families applied the 7 habit framework of thinking into building strong, happy, highly effective families. Also, my son Sean applied the framework to the unique needs, interests, and challenges of teens in a very visually attractive, entertaining, and edifying way in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. We have also had tens of thousands of people tell us of the significant impact of becoming the creative force of their own lives through internalizing the 7 habits. 76 of them shared the details of the fascinating stories of courage and inspiration in living the 7 habits, showing and transforming power of the principles in all kinds of personal, family, and organizational settings, regardless of their circumstances, organizational position, or prior life experiences. This is the second question. What have you learned about the 7 habits since the book's release? I have learned or have reinforced many things. I'll briefly mention 10 learnings, and I think we're only going to get to 6 of these learnings in this reading. I have learned the importance of understanding the difference between principles and values. Principles are natural laws that are external to us and that ultimately control the consequences of our actions. Values are internal and subjective and represent that which we feel strongest about in guiding our behavior. Hopefully, we will come to value principles so that we get the results we want now in a way that enables us to get even greater results in the future, which is how I define effectiveness. Everyone has values. Even criminal gangs have values. The values govern people's behavior, but principles govern the consequences of those behaviors. Principles are independent of us. They operate regardless of our awareness of them, acceptance of them, liking of them, belief in them, or obeying of them. I have come to believe that humility is the mother of all virtues. Humility says that we are not in control. Principles are in control. Therefore, we submit ourselves to principles. Pride says that we are in control, and since our values govern our behavior, we can simply do life our way. We may do so, but the consequences of our behavior flow from principles, not from our values. Therefore, we should value principles. This is this is learning 2. From experiences all over the world with this material, I have come to see the universal nature of the principles undergirding this material. Illustrations and practices may vary and are culturally specific, but the principles are the same. I have found the principles contained in the 7 habits in all 6 major world religions and have actually drawn upon quotations from sacred writings of those religions when teaching in those cultures. I have done this in the Middle East, India, Asia, Australia, and the South Pacific, South America, Europe, North America, Africa, and among Native Americans and other indigenous peoples. All of us, men and women alike, face similar problems, have similar needs, and internally resonate with the underlying principles. This is an internal sense of the principle of justice or win-win. There is an internal moral sense of the principle of responsibility, of the principle of purpose, of integrity, of respect, of cooperation and communication and renewal. These are universal, but practices are not. They are situationally specific. Every culture interprets universal principles in unique ways. Learning 3. I have come to see the organizational implications of the 7 habits. Although, in the strict technical sense, an organization does not have habits. Its culture has norms or mores or social codes which represent habits. An organization also has established systems, processes, and procedures. These represent habits. In fact, in the last analysis, all behavior is personal. It is individual, even though it often is part of the collective behavior in the form of decisions made by management regarding structure and system, processes, and practices. We have worked with thousands of organizations in most every industry and profession and have found that the same basic principles contained in the 7 habits apply and define effectiveness. Learning 4. You can teach all 7 habits by starting with any one habit. And you can also teach one habit in a way that leads to the teaching of the other 6. It's like a hologram where the whole is contained in the part and the part is contained in the whole. Learning number 5. Even though the 7 habits represent an inside-out approach, it works most successfully when you start with the outside challenge and then take the inside-out approach. In other words, if you are having a relationship challenge, say a breakdown of communication and trust, this will define the nature of the needed inside-out approach in winning the kind of private victory that enables the public victory meeting that challenge. This is the reason I often teach habits 4, 5, and 6 before I teach habits 1, 2, and 3. This is the 6th learning, and we're going to end the learnings here. Interdependence is 10 times more difficult than independence. It demands so much more mental and emotional independence to think win-win when another person is into win-lose. To seek to understand first when everything inside you cries out for understanding. And to search for a better third alternative when compromise is so much easier. In other words, to work successfully with others in creative cooperative ways requires an enormous amount of independence, internal security, and self-mastery. Otherwise, what we call interdependency is really counterdependency, where people do the opposite to assert their independence or codependency, where they literally need the other person's weakness to fulfill their need and to justify their own weakness. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching our videos. Don't forget that you can find this video on YouTube and Facebook. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.